David Pasternak's a leader. I go back to when he first signed his deal with the Boston Bruins. Everybody thought that he was underpaid, and he comes out and says, you know what? I want to play here in Boston. I'm happy with my deal, and I'm happy to be here.
By Labushkin, who has 10 hits in the game. Lindholm sends it in, and it's Pastrnak scores! Series winner for David Pastrnak and the Bruins.
David Pastrnak is one of the NHL's top current performers. A killer scorer, in-game spectacle, and a constant in the success of the Boston Bruins. But a fact, with superstar statistics year in and out, he doesn't garner a similar level of consideration for himself and fellow top NHL performers. Why? Why isn't Pastrnak included in the same discussion with Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and Nathan MacKinnon? Some say that he takes too much out of Boston's system. Others say that during big times, he disappears. But is there any reality in that? Or is he one of the most underrated talents in the league? Let's break it down. First, let's speak about why David Pastrnak is a standout player. This guy doesn't just score a goal, he scores a goal with style. Whether it's a perfectly placed wrist shot, a one-timer off a circle that jumps off his stick, or a dazzling breakaway move that leaves goalies frozen in terror.
Some college hockey and Pastrnak. Oh, filthy!
Pastrnak is a scoring savant. His shot is one of the most deadly in the NHL, and specifically his one-timer off the right circle, about as dependable as Alex Ovechkin's infamous office shot during a power play opportunity. With quick hands, he can beat defenders with ease. With a high level of hockey IQ, puts himself in position to capitalize on a play even before goalies even have a chance to react. The numbers don't lie. In 2022-23, Pastrnak notched 61 goals and accumulated 113 points. That wasn't impressive. That was Hart Trophy level production and one of the most prolific offensive players in the NHL. To score 60 in today's era is no small accomplishment. Goalies are larger, defensive structures are more organized, and overall team philosophies make high-scoring years a lot less accessible. Yet it seemed almost effortless for him. Beyond just one standout campaign, overall consistency has been impressive for him. Several times in his career, he's finished in the top 5 in goals, and that's an indication that he's not a one-hit wonder. Not only is he a prolific scorer, but a record-setting player, with him becoming the fastest player in Bruins history to have 600 career points, outpacing Bruins legends Ray Bourque and Phil Esposito in the record books in a record-shattering pace. And yet, when conversation comes to debating the best snipers in the league, a few names consistently pop up: Austin Matthews, Alex Ovechkin, and Leon Draisaitl. All three of these skaters have praise for possessing such a high-scoring skill set, but for whatever reason, no one ever seems to say it first about Pastrnak. Some argue that it's simply because he plays in Boston, a team renowned for its two-way structure over individual flair. Unlike a lot of high-scoring forwards who flourish in high-flying, attack-first systems, Pastrnak plays for a Bruins unit that's long prioritized two-way accountability. Others say that he's helped too much by line mates Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron, two of the greatest two-way forwards of the decade. The theory is that Pasternak's enjoyed having played with top-notch playmakers who have created for him. But let's not forget, one doesn't have 60+ in a single campaign simply for your line mates. You have them for being a freak talent. Pastrnak isn't a reflection of a deep system, terrific line mates. He's a generational talent who's consistently proven that he can win games. On 5-on-5, with a man's advantage, in a big game scenario, Pastrnak delivers. And it's high time that he's getting the accolades that have long been owed him. If there's one criticism that trails David Pastrnak, it's whether he comes through in the biggest of times. What a superstar is sometimes measured by is not necessarily what they can produce when times are easiest, but when times are hardest. And for all of Pasternak's offensive wizardry, many believe that he hasn't yet produced that defining playoff performance yet. In the 2023 playoffs, Boston rode in with sky-high hopes. Having completed a record-breaking regular season with 65 wins and 135 points, they were the most dominant regular season NHL team in statistics ever. The Bruins were a shoo-in for a Stanley Cup win, and then they collapsed. First-round loss at the hands of the Florida Panthers, having squandered a 3-1 series edge. The loss was agonizing, and one of the many contributing factors in its cause. One of the largest questions Bruins enthusiasts asked was, where was Pastrnak when it mattered most? Pasternak's numbers weren't terrible, 5 goals and 2 assists in 7 games, but he wasn't the dominant force that everybody hoped for. He did manage 2 clutch goals, including a tie-breaking one in a decisive Game 5.
Being watched by Eric Stahl. Here's Marchand. Down low. Pastrnak scores! What a goal! Oh my short side to tie the game at 2.
But he couldn't take over games the way a franchise player is expected to. And in a must-deliver game-changing performance in a do-or-die Game 7, when his team needed him the most, he managed just a single goal as Florida completed the upset. However, after the game, it was revealed that Pastrnak had been playing through a shoulder injury, raising the question, was his underwhelming performance due to pressure, or was he simply pushing through pain to give his team a chance? And this wasn't even the first time concerns about Pasternak's playoff performance have been voiced. In 2019 Stanley Cup Final, the Bruins were one win short of a championship, hosting a deciding Game 7 with St. Louis Blues and in a position perfect for a player like Pastrnak to stand up and deliver and contribute towards providing a second decade-winning cup for Boston. Instead, the Bruins' attack shut down completely, scoring a single one in a 4-1 loss. Pastrnak, he mustered a whole 1 goal in 7 games in the entirety of the final. A woefully poor performance for a player of such talent.
Barbashev in the way, but now it's Bergeron whipping it across. He Kruger around it for Pastrnak. He scores! What a backhand by Pastrnak!
Now, is it fair to say that he completely disappears in big games? Not in any shape, form, or manner. There have been playoff series in which Pastrnak has been simply dominant. In the 2020 playoffs, for example, he lit the lamp for 17 in 11 games and showed that he can most assuredly produce at an elite level in the playoffs. But it is that lack of consistency that brings about doubt. Look at any of the other superstar performers and how they performed at the biggest stage. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have won playoff games single-handedly for the Oilers, dominating playoff scoring even when their respective teams have been out of contention. Nathan MacKinnon played a force during Colorado Avalanche's 2022 playoff run, delivering when it mattered most. Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin both delivered a single game-winning, career-defining performance that etched them in everyone's minds forever for all-time greats. Pastrnak, despite all of his tremendous skill, hasn't yet reached that defining moment. Yet. There's youth in him, and there's enough room for fortunes to reverse. But for the present, one can wonder, can he become the one to bring a Stanley Cup to the Bruins? David Pastrnak is renowned for scoring, but little appreciated is that overall offensive skill set rounded out by him. Not only does he possess one of the NHL's most deadly shots, but he's an elite playmaker with an ease with creating that's similar to with which he can finish. In 2022-23, he chipped in 52 assists to go with 61 markers, and demonstrated in fact that he's not a one-dimensional sniper in any regard.
Hayes. Meanwhile, Pastrnak in, fake, spin it across, score! Brogue! And the game is tied!
Not only can he break down defenses with a shot, but with a pass, and with such a high skill level, opponents can't simply target one and try to shut him down, because then, in a perfect counter, he'll burn them with a perfect pass. Beyond his offensive contribution, Pastrnak has also developed a lot in terms of defending work. While he may never be in the conversation for the Selke Trophy, his smartness in reading plays, his quickness to harass, and ability to take smart back checks when it's important have all contributed to improving him as a player. It's a work ethic towards becoming a two-way player, and even when most renowned for putting on a scoring spectacle, hardly a weakness in his own end. Perhaps the most important development in Pasternak's game is his leadership. With the retirement of Patrice Bergeron, the heart and soul of the Boston Bruins for nearly 2 decades, Pastrnak has stepped up as one of the team's emotional and on-ice leaders. He's embraced the responsibility of being the face of the franchise, guiding a new era of Bruins hockey while still maintaining his electrifying play. His growth as a leader ensures that Boston remains competitive, even as they transition from their veteran-heavy core to a new generation. If there's one characteristic that sets David Pastrnak apart from fellow NHL elites, it's his infectious personality. In a league filled with gruff, businessman-like stars, Pastrnak brings a healthy dose of enjoyment and charisma. He's one of the most charismatic, unflustered, and friendly guys in the league. Whatever it is, his infamous mythical wardrobe, off-color post-game presser jokes, or simply being in the locker room, he brings a level of infectious energy with him wherever he goes. Players enjoy competing with him, and opponents enjoy competing against him. Fans enjoy seeing him, even when the Bruins don't have a particularly strong performance. His love for hockey cannot be questioned. He plays with swagger, confidence, and an infectious joy that cannot go unnoticed. He's not a player who racks up points. He lives for big game moments. Even when he doesn't necessarily deliver in them, he doesn't ever try to fly under the radar. That kind of mental makeup doesn't happen a lot, and that's why everyone in the hockey community regards him with such high regard. At the end of the day, Pastrnak isn't a scoring machine, but a personality, an entertainer, and a player whom fans actually root for, something that can't be taught. So, what's the truth about David Pastrnak? Here it is. One of the best in the world, but with one thing yet to prove. He's a top 5 scorer in the NHL, but not necessarily included in best player conversation at all times. He's had dominant years, but not that one mythical playoff run. He's a superstar, but he's still chasing greatness. But let's not forget, he's 28 years old. There's a lot of life and a lot of years in him yet to pen his legacy. If he can win a second Stanley Cup with Boston, then and only then will everyone believe. Till then, the debate continues. What do you believe? Do you believe David Pastrnak is underrated? Or does he have to prove himself yet to join the all-time greats? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the NHL's biggest stars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.